Hello and welcome to another edition of Leaders Being Heard podcast. Today we are we are following up a topic that we started last time, and it's how do we deal with challenges, right? In the previous episode, we discussed how do you discover your challenges at work. So to give you a short recap, right? What is a challenge? How do you catch if you have a challenge? So I guess when you are stressed at work, when you are not present, you are not eating or eating too much, not sleeping, perhaps something it's you are dealing with a challenge, right? So what we discovered last time, one of the thing is to just stop, don't do anything, right? To 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 actually discover your challenges, stop and reflect. And we come up with a few questions for you last time, right? What am I complaining about? What did not work this week? What do I postpone usually to do, right? So these are some of the questions that help help us to discover what we are dealing, what are our challenges at work. But now that we discover what are our challenges at work, let's see how do we deal with that. So for that, we have today also with us Andra and Christina. Welcome, Andra and Christina.
Hi.
Hi. Long introduction, so welcome. So anything else to say about discovering your challenges at work that I didn't sum up from the previous conversation? No? Okay,
No.
thank you. I got you by surprise. That is a challenge. Okay.
I was not
s-
paying attention to what you were saying.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
No, I was just thinking that it's personal, everybody catches the challenges in their own way, but it's interesting to hear, it's the x-ray. How do you do it? Because
Mhm.
will it match my pattern or not?
So how do so now that we got our challenges, right? Why do we need to deal with them, right? Why cannot like just put them under the rug, right? Like, oh, it's a challenge, whatever. Why don't we move on? Why do we need to deal with them?
I
Wants
will
to
I will answer. So we don't need to, like it's not we have to deal with the challenge. It's more of if you want to. And what I mean, if you want to deal, it's actually how is it impacting you? So it's more of evaluating. If I keep doing this, like not doing anything about it, what's going to happen? Yeah, so that is it's you look at how is that impacting me? Maybe you're stressed, maybe you don't deal, as you said. See, I listen. Yeah, it might be that you're stressed, you don't eat. Yeah, that is a big impact. You want to have a balanced life to be okay. So that is a big impact. Usually we tend to let it grow, the impact, until the pain of keep doing it is bigger than the pain of stop doing it. So the idea is to evaluate. If you have the ability to do it, to catch it earlier and do something about it, is better than to end up in that the pain is so big and the impact is growing. So we don't need to, but probably at some point we will want to if it keeps growing, the impact.
Got it. This is more like go to the doctor when you are not ill, right? You have the symptoms, not when you are very ill.
Yeah, you
All
just
right.
have a small pain. Yeah.
You have a small pain. Right. So this is good, right? But how do people usually tend to deal with this, right? Like in a normal, like in general, how people are dealing with this kind of situation.
I can go with this one. Of course, we are different and our reactions are different. But I guess our first temptation, or we tend to first to complain, or either complain or feel frustrated, blame. And here it's an interesting who do we blame, right? And we might be tempted to blame the others, just like in the traffic. Or we might be tempted to blame ourselves. There are a lot of people who focus this kind of energy towards themselves, and it's very energy consuming as well. And there is also the, let's say, the tendency, some people to blame the system. You know, it's out in the wild, like it's the teaching system fault that people don't don't know how to connect dots, or I don't know, something, or it's the government is is to blame,
Or the
so
company.
something, or the company. So something which who is pretty impersonal. You don't know exactly to whom to pinpoint exactly, but it's out there. It's not on my side. And of course, out of this stance is like, I cannot do anything about it. It's you know, it's a blame to place, and this is it. And usually this is kind of the situation where we go in circles and we cannot move on.
Mhm.
And I think this adds on what Andra said, like, what is the impact? How much do we spin in this remaining in the not handling the challenge properly, so as to we help ourselves.
Mhm. But what is, for example, I mean, in a way, so I got it, right? There, you blame the others, right? But then another way to deal with it is, right, to just talk to a friend, right? You talk to a friend and you say like, oh, Andra is not doing, Andra is not providing, or the company is like XYZ, and so on, right? So you talk to your friend, and your friend is like, oh, you are so right, Marius. Yeah, Andra is so mean, she doesn't provide, and the company so on and so on and so on, right? And this is in a way like it's a conversation that in a way deals with your frustration, right? Like you talk to someone, you get it out of your system, but I would assert you are still frustrated, right? And you move on in a way, right? Like, oh, I talked to Andra, I complain about, I talked to Christina and I complain about Andra and or about the company, and I just move on, right? Moved on with my life with being frustrated and so on. What is wrong with this? What is not? Um, is it a way to deal with challenges, or is it a way? Is it the impact still there? What do you think?
So the frustration, I think it's coming from, there is nothing I can do about it. While I was listening to you, it was more like, I'm a victim. There is nothing I can do about it. No power over here. And it's a way, sometimes it's just a way to vent it. This is how they say in English. Yeah. You just want to say something out loud, and then you're fine. You are able to go to that place in which you ask yourself, what can I do about it? But most of the time you stay with the frustration, and you say, okay, there is nothing I can do about it. You have somebody confirming that. And that is what doesn't work, because it keeps coming back, keeps showing up, the same complaint. That is what is not working. It's like you cannot do anything about it, and you are keep being frustrated. It's all over there outside, and you cannot do anything about it.
Wow, that is great. That is absolutely great. So it's a realization of actually you losing power, self-expression, right? So yeah, awesome. What is an alternative to this, right? So we got, it's not like you are doing it in circles, right? Like the same thing, if you talk to someone, might appear in a week or in a couple of days, and you are back on square one, right? So what is an alternative to deal with the challenges? What do we need to do, or what do we need to, I don't know, what is a recipe? Let's put it like this. Who
Christina?
wants to start?
Okay, let me give my 2 cents. I guess first step would be just to stop a bit and look at yourself from the outside if it's possible. Like hearing that maybe the complaints about the arguments, about the ideas. So just let them, just see them and try to take them as, see if they are facts. I mean, like taking a picture and after that, look at it and try to analyze it, which is more like a reflection. Okay, so just see out of what happened and out of the picture that you have just taken, what do you see? Or what is something that, for example, you see that it's okay, and what is something that you don't like and you want it to be changed? And it might be also what is important in this is what can I do about this to change? Because it's in this world, I think it's proven. We cannot force somebody to do something I want, but I can convince myself to do it, right? So it's much easier for me to take a move, to take a change, compared to making the others, in the traffic to drive at the speed that I want, right? I need to adapt. So, and now once that I decide that it is me who needs to take a step, then what is that step? And here I think it's is a world of possibilities. You can either do nothing, as Andra said earlier. Yeah, it's something I don't want to invest energy in. I'm okay in the end. I don't want to do anything, but I accept it, and I accept it with my, I mean, in a conscious way, right? For example, at the office, I don't know, my manager took a decision I don't like. Okay, do I want to do something about it? No, because I have expressed all my concerns or my everything I wanted to say. Okay, then just accept it, right? Or if I want to do something about it because I still don't agree or something, then what is that I can do about it? And it's in a calm and an action that should do me good. Okay, of course we need to take into consideration that others need to feel good as well. I mean, it's not like I will go and shout out loud in the office, I still don't like it or something like that, because I might offend the others. But you know, it's a process. Like, how do I decide what I do? And in order to change, I might succeed, I might not, but at least I took an action.
I see in what you're sharing is actually where you are coming from in a way, right? You are coming out of frustration or out of being a contribution towards the company, right? So this is
Yeah,
a difference.
contribution and being being on the positive side of the story. So even if I don't like it, and I accept I don't like that decision, but if I reflect on it and I say, okay, but I brought all the arguments, the other people expressed their arguments, it was a conversation where maybe there is no right decision, I mean, sorry, not easy decision, or it may be a decision that either way somebody will not like it, you know. So it's a decision that needed to be taken, right? So there might be arguments that can make me accept, or there will still be arguments like, I don't know, I still think we need to help each other, something, anyway, anything. But then I need to know, to find out a way that I can do something about it without harming the others, of course.
Yeah. Anja, what do you say? Because I have a couple of questions here, but I want to see what is your perspective.
I was thinking at the example that Christina was saying, when accepted is sometimes the frustration comes because if things do not happen the way we want, yeah, like the manager does not do the way I said, because I have all the arguments, we go into that, oh, my opinion does not count, or I'm not important. Yeah, that is if you keep getting a no, yeah, with your it gathers. This is in regards to the example. So it's from my side is what Christina said, is to look at. I can take another example. For example, I'm not communicating well with a colleague, and then it's to look at, okay, what can I do about it? But don't expect like to go from zero to hero. If today you act like this, tomorrow you want to be at the opposite side. Yeah. It's to see what you can do about it with small steps until something changes. And you can try different things, especially in communication with people. You may try different things and they might not work. And here is something when if you think the other person is, you put a label on, oh, that person never listens to me, yeah, you have a gain. If you keep going and it does not work, you keep trying a few things, and then you have that gain that, well, I was right, they don't listen to me. So that is something to watch out for. So it's, yeah, find your way, but try to some questions that might help is, how would I like to respond instead? How would I like to behave? Especially when it's a communication issue. Yeah. How would I like to be different? How would somebody that I admire would do it differently? These are some questions in which you can self-reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that I want to say, like for me, sometimes self-reflection when the challenge is big or is something that I don't see. So I just I have a coach, and each week I just bring those issues to the coach, and I see new things, and I see what I can do about it. In the end, that is the idea. Okay, what new actions can I take about it? And I can see them. Because sometimes I just say, oh, I just don't have time to reflect or whatever. Life is happening, and then I just do that in coaching, and I look at it, and then I'm like, okay, this is what I've not seen.
Yeah, this is actually, this was one of the questions, because reflection, right? It means you stay with you, right? And this is what Christina mentioned, and it was in my mind, right? It's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy to self-reflect, right? So the question is, how do you do it? And can you do it with a friend or with someone closer, right? Is it like Anja, you mentioned a coach, right?
The coach is objective, like doesn't with a friend you can get an opinion and you can get do that or do that. People tend to tell you what to do.
Okay, so
because this is what they would do in the same situation. So you can start with the coach, and then you can learn your own practices. It's an idea.
Okay. Right. So this is self-reflection. Is it like, how do you do it? Like, is it like a periodic thing, or when you kind of find out that you might have a challenge? Is it like a weekly practice, or is like on the spot practice? Let's put it like this, to self-reflect.
Now I could coach you and I would ask, what would you do about it? It's not like I would say, okay, do it once a week, and you do it and it doesn't work. It's different for each of us. Might work on the spot, usually it doesn't. Or you might do it at the end of the day if you cannot fall asleep, or at the end of the week. It's different for each, and it's to find out what works for you. But you need to start trying something. Because if you don't try and you say already that doesn't work for me, then you disqualify all options and you stay where you are. Yeah. You may try, okay, let me try once a week. At the beginning doesn't work. Maybe it starts, okay, let me try. Yeah. And it's a discovery process. like with my clients, I just remember there are so they start doing something new, and then they say, well, I tried it for 2 weeks, doesn't really work, let me try something different. Okay, so it's adjust. I don't
Okay.
have a recipe.
Okay, got it. What about you, Christina? What is your
What I
practice?
see, yeah, what I see in this conversation. So if you don't work with a coach, right? If you're not used to this kind of discipline to really stop and reflect, because it's difficult. Okay. I think what we usually do, we go to a friend, or I don't know, partner, or anybody, and we say what is on our mind, and after that we usually, I guess, we have higher chances that we receive solutions, even though it's not this what we are searching. I mean, we don't want somebody to give us solutions, even if they are good or they are suitable for the circumstance. And for example, what I find it interesting with me is that if I hear from somebody solutions, and maybe on the spot I think it's a good idea, what happens is that when I come back home and some time passes, then I start to challenge those solutions. And this is for me a moment when I realize that I need to take a step back and maybe start from scratch and rethink in terms of facts, intentions, and stuff like that. But I need some time to realize that it's been that process that I was not aware.
Got it. Mhm.
I think it's if you go and speak with a friend, I just saw that it's for you first to be clear. What do you need? What's your intention when you want to speak? Maybe you just want to complain or to talk about it, and you might be able to say at the beginning, look, I don't want to hear any solutions. Yeah, I just want to say it and whatever. So it's for you to be clear when you start talking about it. We just start talking about it because we are frustrated. And then we might get more frustrated when we get solutions. And then you stop talking with others. So it's more about, okay, I want to, if you have that awareness and you can start asking yourself, okay, what's my intention? Why do I want to speak with this friend? I just want to complain. What do I expect of them when I complain? I expect them to, I don't know. If you expect them to give you, to say, yeah, you're right for you, well, you have a gain that is not probably what you wish.
Yeah, I have just remembered an exercise, something that happened to me. So I was in the friend's position, right? And I was listening to a colleague, to somebody, and that person would just speak the frustration and a lot of ideas, and for me it was not clear. Was it just a moment when that person needed listening from me and that's it? Or would that person also expect a solution? And it was very confusing for me. I really didn't know what was the best,
Did you ask? You can ask. Okay, how can I help you?
After some time, when I realized my confusion, because it was not clear, it was just the battle in my head, until I realized that I need you to tell me. I told the person, I need you to tell me, do I only need to hear you? And that's fine. I can participate from that point of view in the conversation, or do you want me to contribute and give you a solution? And it was very, the conversation started to change a bit from after I mentioned it, because the person started to say, okay, you don't need to, you just listen to me. Okay. But very confusing.
Thank you for sharing this. Very powerful. Thank you for creating this, you two, Andrea and Christina. And now that, I mean, I just want to summarize a bit this question. So the thing is, like, stop, reflect. This is what I heard, and also plan. And also when you do reflection, just be aware of reflection, right? Like, it's might be that you need to do it with a coach or with somebody that is more like inclined to be more objective, a friend might be a person that is giving you advices or being on the same, I should say, not just listening, but also expressing his opinion. So it's more like just be aware when you are sharing with a friend, might not be the same result with someone that is more objective. What are some other ways to deal? So what can we do to when something that we can do when dealing with challenges? What else can we do when we're dealing with challenges? What else is that we can do?
I can think. I mean, if it's about, for example, growth or self-development, or if you want to hear what's happening with the others, I think communities are great because they gather people who are pretty, they are guided by the same needs, let's say, and by the same principles. And for example, in the same profession or or hobby or whatever, right? And you might find aspects that you didn't know and they suit you and they are good for you. Other than communities, of course, speaking to people who have been through similar situations, but here it's with an asterisk. It might help, it might not help. I don't know. It's I would say handle with care. Something else that but that might help depending on the challenge is to help others. Try helping others. For example, juniors. For example, people from other departments who do the same job as you, but they don't know your domain or something like that. I mean, it can be that by helping others, you gain something in return, like something you didn't know, or appreciation, or depending on, I don't know, it can be anything. And it's interesting that you cannot even plan for the outcome in this area. I mean, you don't know what it might come. So when you're out of ideas, you can just go out and expose a little bit, but be open and let yourself, start the conversation. The other people don't know what's your challenge, and they don't know they might get into a conversation that can help you, that can resonate with you.
So what I was hearing is like community, which is great. Another one is go to someone that share the same experience, and here you might need to pay attention because always the same solution might not work, and the previous solution might not work. And then the last thing that I heard is also like be a contribution to others, and in return you are also being contributed to. This is what I'm hearing. What do you say, Andrea? What is for you?
Something that came into my mind is, especially like when you deal with stuff at work, go to your manager. Like if you create a relationship with your manager in which you can just say what it is and deal with it somehow together, I think that is a way of getting support. But that depends on the relationship that you have. And I think that is, we pointed to the coach, do the self-reflection, but that is somebody who has more experience than you. And it's like, it's there for you to grow and wants you to grow and wants you to, I think they might be someone that you can go to and discuss this kind of stuff. Even though it's you might think, oh, but they are involved in the process of my career development and how I get a raise. Don't mix, you don't hide those challenges. We all have challenges. It's not like we need to look perfect. So that just came into my mind right now while Christina was
Thank you
saying.
All right, with this being said, this is I think we conclude this this edition of Leaders Being Heard. Thank you for this insights on how to deal with challenges, and also for you watching us. Tell us how you deal on yourself with challenges. How do you deal with challenges at work? Do you have challenges at work? Just let us know. So thank you, Andra. Thank you, Christina. See you next
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Don't forget to
Bye.
subscribe. All right.
Yes.
So thank you. Bye, guys.
And meet you next Tuesday. Bye bye.